Hey everybody, it's Nathaniel Avila reporting from Dallas County, and I'm here with, who am I here with?
Hey, it's Hanyu.
Hi, how are you
Hi.
today?
Trying to survive in this dystopia world that we call America.
Really, what's going on?
Nah, something about women being not fully people. Unfortunately, I'm waiting on, I know y'all can't see it, but if by chance it goes further back, I will be a fourth of a person.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, a third of a person.
Oh, very interesting. But let's talk about something not so intense. Let's talk
Yes,
about the Chupacabra. So, what do you know about
yes.
this thing?
Well, something about lots of Harrys, do death, things like that. Eat your children if you be bad.
I think you're confusing that with the Krampus.
No, no. Krampus steals children and whips them into submission. I
Okay.
know what Krampus are.
Okay. So let's talk about it because it's a legendary creature in the folklore parts of the Americas, with its first reported sighting reported in Puerto Rico in 1995. So it's pretty recent.
Wow.
So the chupacabras can literally be translated as the goat sucker. And it is known to both chupacabras and chupacabra throughout the Americas, with the former being the original name, and the latter regularization. So the name is attributed to the Puerto Rican comedian Silverio Perez, who coined the label in 1995 while commenting on the attacks as a San Juan radio DJ. So, 1975. A series of livestock killings in a small town of Mocha were attributed to the vampire of Mocha. Ooh. So initially, it was suspected that the killings were committed by a satanic cult. Later, more killings were reported around the island, and many farms reported loss of animal life. Each of the animals was reported to have had its body bled dry through a series of small circular incisions. Now, the first reported attack, eventually attributed to the actual chupacabras, occurred in March of 1995. Now, 8 sheep were discovered dead in Puerto Rico, each with 3 puncture wounds in the chest area and reportedly completely drained of blood. A few months later, in August, an eyewitness named Madeline Delantino reported seeing the creature in the Puerto Rican town of Canovanas, where as many as 150 farm animals and pets were reportedly killed. Oh no. So what do you think about that?
Interesting of getting rid of all the blood from the animal and animals just dying off.
It's very spooky. Very spooky scary. So,
Yes.
there's a lot of things going on. So let's see. Da, 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 da. So, Puerto Rican comedian and entrepreneur Silverio Perez, like I said, mentioned earlier, is credited with coining the term chupacabras after the first incidents were reported in the press. Now, shortly after the first reported incidents in Puerto Rico, other animal deaths were reported in other countries such as Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, the Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Honduras, Mexico, Nicaragua, Panama, Peru, and even the US of A. The best country in the world, right? Right? Would you agree?
Very true. I mean, it could be worse in
Okay.
some cases.
So in October and in December 2018, there came many reports of suspected chupacabras in Manipur, India. Now, many domestic animals and poultry were killed in a suspicious manner similar to the chupacabra attacks, and several people reported that they had seen the chupacabra. Now, however, forensic experts opined that street dogs were responsible for mass killing of domestic animals and poultry after studying the remnants of a corpse. Now, in October 2019, a video recorded by Mondo OVNI showed the results of a supposed attack of chickens in the Ceboroquillo sector of Lares, Puerto Rico. So, what do you think of that?
I mean, it's still in question.
Okay. Do you want to see the video?
Sí. No.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to play the video. Okay, ready?
Amarilla.
Mhm.
Mira, échala para acá, para ver la de la mera. Esa gallina está chupa, vírala un poquito de lado, del otro lado. Ahí, déjala ahí, mira. Exprímela. Sin sangre.
Estamos aquí en el sector Ceboruquillo del pueblo de Lares. Llegamos a este sector hoy en la mañana, 14 de octubre, porque ayer en la madrugada, 13 de octubre de este año que va cogiendo, 2019, los residentes del lugar se encontraron con 9 gallinas muertas.
Look at those dead chickens.
Yeah. Kind of sad. That's people's lives and living there, just dead.
You know, they shouldn't be walking around.
You can't stop chickens from walking around.
Shouldn't have had blood.
Everything has blood.
Should have had blood. Wouldn't have been sucked out of you.
Everyone has blood.
Hay 2 de ellas que estuvieron heridas, pasaron toda la noche, pero hoy en la madrugada murieron, que nos encontramos con ellas y las analizamos. ¿Qué encontramos en estas 2 que están muertas de esta madrugada? El mismo patrón de ataque. Tienen las heridas punzantes, le limpia la parte arriba de su espalda y le hace las heridas. Encontramos que hay un gallo también que ya está moribundo, ese no va a pasar de 2 días más o quizás hoy mismo muere. Y parece que el cuello algo lo lastimó o lo partió porque el gallo está en una forma inclinada y no alza la cabeza, y cuando lo tocamos entendemos que el gallo tiene dolor porque se quejó. Es bien interesante porque no solamente ha sido un ataque, sino que esta criatura dejó huellas en todo el lugar. Y tenemos eso puesto en este momento para entonces tener estas imágenes ya en nuestras manos como tal. Las estamos cubriendo con yeso para poder tener la evidencia entonces mucho más clara en nuestras manos. Porque ustedes saben que casi en todos los ataques, por lo duro del terreno o porque no ha llovido, no se han podido tomar de alguna manera huellas. Pero en esta ocasión, como esto parece que llovió la madrugada de antenoche, pues en esta ocasión sí marcó huellas. Entonces estamos tirándole el yeso a ver cuál de ellas nos sale perfecta. Tenemos muchas gallinas que están escondidas debajo de las jaulas, asustadas, pero estuvimos viendo que aprisionó una de las partes de la verja. Es un cojar abierto, no tiene techo. Inclusive en la parte donde aprisiona la gallina, en la jaula, encontramos vellos. Son unos vellos blancos, largos, muy similares a otros que hemos tomado en otros casos. Según el dueño explica, pues aprisionó la gallina aquí, parece que tratando de salir la empujó y aquí mismo la gallina se quedó muerta. Pero si ves, hay bastante cabello, es un cabello fino pero grueso al mismo tiempo y está enredado en los alambres. Ellos poseen conejos, pero los conejos no están sueltos, los conejos están en jaulas. Se nota que hubo forcejeo por la manera que quedaron las plumas en los alambres, que ellas buscaron esconderse en el alambre. Se nota que las cogió, más sin embargo en el otro lado hay piedra, pues hay gajas, como que él estaba cogiendo las gallinas. Entonces eso quiere decir que todas las gallinas estaban regadas en todo este lugar porque él las cogió. Hasta ahora tenemos huellas, tenemos vello. Vamos a seguir en esta área escudriñando el lugar. Seguimos investigando, seguimos aquí en el pueblo de Lares y sigan ustedes muy pegados a nuestro canal de Mundo OVNIs. No olvides poner la campanita, suscribirte para que no te pierdas ni un solo evento de todos estos acontecimientos que están pasando en la isla de Puerto Rico. Les reportó para ustedes la señora Wanda Ibelis.
All right, well, there's that. So what do you think about that?
Well, that's interesting. They're trying to gather evidence to prove what it is, but does it really say specifically a chupacabra, though, and not some other wild animal that could have done this?
So you don't think it's a chupacabra?
It could be. It could be not. Is there more stuff that we can talk about?
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Or what does the science say? You know how I feel about the science. They have something to say about things.
Well, they said it was a dog, but let's see. So a 5-year investigation by Benjamin Radford, which was documented in his 2011 book Tracking the Chupacabra, concluded that the description given by the original eyewitnesses in Puerto Rico, Madeline Tolentino, was based on the creature Syl from the 1995 sci-fi horror film Species. So, do you think it was from a movie?
I mean, it could be from a movie, but I doubt it, though.
Okay. So, the alien creature Syl is nearly identical to Tolentino's Chupacabra eyewitness account, and she had seen the movie before her report. Now, this is what she says. So, it was a creature that looked like the Chupacabra with spines on its back and all. The resemblance to the Chupacabra is really impressive, Tolentino reported, is what she said. Now, Radford revealed that Tolentino believed that the creatures and events she saw in Species were happening in reality in Puerto Rico at that time, and therefore concludes that the most important Chupacabra description cannot be trusted. Now, this, Radford believes, seriously undermines the credibility of the Chupacabra as a real animal. So, what do you say to that?
I mean, it could. It could not. But only because, I mean, just because it looked very like the descriptions of it from a movie doesn't not make it real.
Doesn't it, though?
Yeah. Isn't that why we're here to debate?
Okay.
And talk about it?
Okay, so in addition to the reports of blood sucking by the Chupacabra, were never confirmed by a necropsy. Now, the only way to conclude that the animal was drained of blood, so that was the only way of drain. You could prove that. So, an analysis by veterinarian of 300 reported victims of the Chupacabra found that they had not been bled dry. Now, Radford divided the Chupacabra reports into 2 categories: the reports from Puerto Rico and the rest of Latin America. Now, where animals were attacked...
Wow.
Why wow?
Because one specific space and then the rest of it.
That's pretty much how it went. So, So there were animals that were attacked, and it's supposed their blood was extracted. And the reports of the United States of mammals, mostly dogs and coyotes with mange, so that people call the chupacabra due to their unusual appearance. So, now in late October 2010, the University of Michigan biologist Barry O'Connor concluded that all the chupacabra reports in the United States were simply coyotes infected with the parasite, the itch mite. Now, whose symptoms could explain most of the features of the chupacabra, and they would be left with little fur, thickened skin, and a rank odor. Now, O'Connor theorized that the attacks on goats occurred because these animals were greatly weakened, so they're going to have a hard time hunting. So they were forced into attacking livestock because it's easier than running down a rabbit or a deer. So what do you think? Do you think it's a coyote with the itch mite?
Nah.
What? How? Why not?
Because that wouldn't be as interesting if it was just a coyote with the itch mite.
Yeah, it is true. Now, although several witnesses came to the conclusion that the attacks could not be the work of dogs or coyotes because they had not eaten the victim. Now, this conclusion is false. Now, both dogs and coyotes can kill and not consume the prey, either because they are inexperienced or due to injury or difficulty in killing the prey. Now, the prey can survive the attack and die afterwards from the internal bleeding or circulatory shock. Now, the presence of the two holes in the neck corresponding with the canine teeth are to be expected, since this is the only way that most land carnivores can catch their prey. So, there's that. And there's also the reports of stray Mexican hairless dogs being mistaken for chupacabras. So, there's also that. So, checkmate.
That's not how that works.
That's not how it works? What? How not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because I still have to get out of it. You can't just say checkmate. You might be at check, but it's not checkmate.
Really? Because there's a lot of it says that it's coyotes with the itch mite.
No. Just because it has the itch mite and hairless dogs keep getting mistaken doesn't mean that the chupacabra is not real.
Okay.
Therefore, you can't checkmate is only check. You might have me in the corner, but I'm pretty sure there are still other ways for me to get out of this.
Okay. So, the most common description of the chupacabra is that of a reptile-like creature, said to have leathery or scaly greenish-gray skin and sharp spines and quills running down its back. And it is said to be approximately 3 to 4 feet high and stands on the hops in a fashion similar to that of a kangaroo. So, let me show you an artist's rendition of this description. So that's how it looks. That's an artist's rendition of that description. What do you think?
Interesting.
Really, doesn't
Got
it?
the tongue out. Looks like a big body of a beast and tongue, scaly, and spine. Big anime eyes, though. I don't know if I would put big anime eyes on a chupacabra.
That's your only critique?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the Ozark... Oh, it's also like... another common description of the chupacabra is that of a strange breed of dog. Now, this form is mostly hairless and has pronounced spinal ridge, unusually pronounced eye sockets, fangs, and claws. Now, unlike conventional predators, the chupacabra is said to drain all the animal's blood and sometimes the organs, usually through three holes in the shape of a downwards pointing triangle, but sometimes through only 1 or 2 holes. So there's that. So which description do you think is more accurate to the Chupacabra?
I kind of feel like I'm gonna go towards the hairless dog would be pronounced.
I would agree with that because that
Fine.
makes the most sense to me. I lost it. There it is. I found it again. So, the Ozark Howler is a large bear-like animal and is the subject to a similar urban legend like that. And there's also the Puchens of Chile, who also share similarities in their supposed habits, but instead of being dog-like, they're described as winged snakes. Now, this legend may have originated from a vampire bat, an animal endemic to the region. Now, in the Philippines, another legendary creature called the Sigbin shares many of the Chupacabra's descriptions. So it's similar. It's similar to that. Now, in popularity of the Chupacabra has resulted in being featured in many types of media, such as the debut album of Imani Coppola, which is titled The Chupacabra. Now, the myth of the Chupacabra is mocked in the 2012 episode Chupacabra of the cartoon series South Park, of course, in which the anti-Semitic main character, Cartman, claims to have seen a Jewish Chupacabra that kills children on Easter. I don't know how much of a South Park person you are. Are you into South Park?
Yes, I watched many of the episodes up until a certain seasons, and it kind of got out of control. And then I started back with the newest season, and I played both of the video games.
Okay, I've only played the video games. I've never watched the show.
So a lot of the references in the video games were lost on you.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Don't worry, my roommates didn't get it either when I played, and I laughed at certain parts because they didn't get the references.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Now, the Magic the Gathering set, Rivals of Ixalan, introduced a card named the Ravenous Chupacabra in January 2018. Are you a Magic the Gathering person as well?
I am.
Okay.
It's been a while, but I have.
You prefer Magic the Gathering over Dungeons and Dragons?
No. Dungeons and Dragons all the way.
Okay. So the Chupacabra was included as one of the several vinyl figures of the Cryptozoic Entertainment's Crypt Kids blind box toy line in 2018. And a redesigned series of the figurines, including an updated Chupacabra, was released on August 2020. Now, a Chupacabra attacks Dr. Venture in the Day of the Dangerous episode of The Venture Brothers, which is a show I'm sure we have all seen.
I've only seen bits and pieces, weirdly enough.
So
I think I've actually seen that episode.
Oh, full episode?
Of all the episodes. I've only seen a few episodes.
So, The Search of the Chupacabra was also featured in a 1997 X-Files episode called El Mundo Gira. And Chupacabra was the title of the mid-season finale of Season 4 of Supernatural, the supernatural drama television series Grimm in December 2014. Also, Tensu Sentai Gosselger has the main antagonist named Brajira, dressed in a house centipede / Chupacabra themed armor to infiltrate Yumaju, a team of cryptid themed monsters. Ooh. And in the Teen Titans Academy DC comic books, has a bat-like metahuman called Chupacabra, whose alter ego is named Diego Perez, named in honor of George Perez, who was the artist initially illustrated the Teen Titans. So there's a superhero out there called Chupacabra in DC Comics.
Yes, sir.
And the season 3, and also the 1999 episode of Futurama features the monster called El Chupacambre. El Chupanibre. So yeah, have you ever seen? Are you a Futurama person? Are you into that?
Yes, and I am looking forward to the reboot.
Oh, really? Even without Joe DiMaggio?
Oh, you didn't hear. They actually upped his pay. He will be joining the cast again.
Really? So they settled that.
Yep.
That's all good.
Yep.
Okay, that's
What do
good.
you mean?
Because that's all good because the show would have been would have been dead on arrival without DiMaggio. Not just because of his performance, it's just because of the background behind it. And Futurama fans probably won't take kindly to that.
True. But we're getting off topic.
Oh yeah, Chupacabra. Now in season 3 of Workaholics, called "To Kill a Chupacabra," Blake finds what he believes to be a deceased corpse of the Rancho Chupacabra in the pool, though it turns out to just be the neighbor's dog. And that's about it. That's the story of the Chupacabra. What do you think so far? What do you think about all this?
I think it's interesting. I mean, it's good to have the beliefs and stuff that is needed. So, I can go on the side that it could possibly be real, but I feel like we're probably only getting bits and pieces. Like maybe both of the different descriptions of a chupacabra is accurate or not accurate, but since we don't know and not caught one, we're not quite sure if it is or not.
I'm kind of leaning that it's more likely it's just a dog with a disease that people identify as a chupacabra, which makes it real in a sense. The fact that because a dog gets this disease or this infection from this itch mite, it could therefore turn into a chupacabra. So I think it's real in that sense.
We can agree to disagree.
Yeah, you think there's just a race of chupacabras around, like a species of chupacabras?
I'm pretty sure there's some SCP out there for the number for a chupacabra and call it something else.
Okay, call it SCP-69.
Nice. No.
High five. We did it. All right, so that's the story of the chupacabra. Is it real? Is it fake? I don't know. You decide. I say, yeah, asterisk, and Hanyu over here says yes, 100%, no doubt about it. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the chupacabra for you. I've been Nathaniel Avila.
And I'm on you.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to a Vision podcast, home of wacky talkies, The Kingdom, Evil Exists, and many more.